Welcome to Boys in the Burgh, the podcast all about Pittsburgh and these boys right here. And boy, how we have a niche podcast right now. You don't know how far our tisms can go.
Pretty deep.
My name is Airbender Chris Speranza.
Hey, and I'm regular guy JJ.
You're non-bender. You're part of what are they called? The bad people. The denied. You're part of the denied then.
Yeah, I thought they were saying the deny, but like I thought it was like a Digimon thing for a second. I was like, did they just steal something from Digimon?
So obviously we're going a different direction with the Pittsburgh idea because it's our podcast, and I expect this episode to get like 3 listens, and we just want to talk about it. We are here talking about the brand new movie that came out on Paramount Plus, and remember, it only came out on Paramount Plus, JJ. Definitely no leaks or anything.
You couldn't watch it on Twitter or anything like that.
We are talking about Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender. Kind of like a movie review, synopsis, I guess. So spoilers, just so everyone knows ahead of time.
And we're going to mention the TV show as well. So if you haven't watched it, I don't know how you haven't watched it, but if you're into that kind of stuff, go watch it. It's great.
So let's just talk about our history real quick with Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I am a Disney fan, as we know, and I don't really care for the Avatar Blue People movies. And I think Frozen 2 kind of stole a little bit from the Avatar Last Airbender series as well. But this is a show I did not watch as a child, actually. And I started watching it as an adult and was like, what's so good about this show anyways? And then I finished watching it because I couldn't stop watching it. And I'm like, okay, this is the greatest cartoon to ever come out, ever.
I agree with that. I watched it when I was in college and I was doing a lot of papers and needed to watch something in the background. I was watching Les Mis and the the South Park musical, and I was like, I need something different. And I just started watching Avatar on a whim one day, and I think that over the couple years I was at Seton Hill, I must have watched it probably 6 times all the way through, just from having it in the background as I was doing schoolwork. So it's always held a really weirdly special part in my heart, just because it was such a big part of me getting through school.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic cartoon series. Anybody and everybody should watch it. I don't think there's really any parts that it's funny, it's serious, it's character development, it's everything. And this movie is kind of a add-on to that for people who are just like, this show has come out years ago and we just want to see what happens because they have a whole life to live. And this is kind of like the continuation of that. And so before we lose listeners, what is the Pittsburgh connection between Avatar: The Last Airbender and Pittsburgh? So people are like, okay, we can still listen.
Before we do that, Chris, I will go right into that, but where should they find us to listen to all this?
Excellent. We can also tell you the answers for that on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, where you can follow and see the latest updates. You can watch our short form media basically on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram Reels. I'm getting there. And then you can also watch us on Spotify and YouTube, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and look at this fantastic hat I have right here if you're watching on video. The official Boys in the Burgh hat, which is available on tpublics.com. And you could get all the greatest merchandise there. I will put a link in the show notes below. So thank you, JJ. I had to get that out.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't wear a hat because the picture that we're using for this episode is me with an arrow in my head because that's just the way it happened. I'm the bald guy, so it's all good. But yeah, so the Pittsburgh connection, I found this really cool. It is Dave Filoni, which everyone knows from Star Wars fame. He is from Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and he directed a couple episodes in season 1 of the original series, episodes 1, 2, 6, 10, 13, 14, 17, and 20. So we have a Pittsburgh guy who did a lot of work in this first season.
Good. That's good to hear. And then the only other Pittsburgh connection I can make to this is the voice of Taga, which turns out to be, we won't spoil it yet, turns out to be one of the new characters in the movie, is voiced by Dave Bautista, who was a WWE superstar who once turned on Rey Mysterio in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, it's a deep cut, yo.
To
Another.
which he said, "I thought you were my friend."
Oh, that one.
Yes.
Oh, what was the song that they did to the background of that?
It was to the chickens, the chicken dance.
I thought
You're
you were my
supposed to
friend.
be my friend. You're supposed to be my friend. Clap, 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 clap.
A couple other connections. So ridiculous. A couple other connections. And this is just stuff from around the city. The Benham Center has hosted Avatar The Last Airbender in concert. So there has been orchestras that have played songs from Avatar The Last Airbender. At the Comic Con at David L. Convention Center, Dante Bacco, who plays Zuko, James Sy, who is the cabbage merchant in, this is all the original, Michelle Jill Murphy, otherwise known as Jessie Flower. She plays Toph Beifong, sorry. Greg Baldwin plays Uncle Iroh. They all came for panels and autographs, so they were all in Pittsburgh doing stuff for a little bit there.
Wow. See, you did find pretty good Pittsburgh connections. That's good.
I found more. You ready for 2 more?
Yes. Yeah.
I deep dive, man. Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh offers digital access to The Legend of Korra, the art of the animated series, and related graphic novel tie-ins through the library network's OneDrive collection. So if you really want to read the comics that came out of all this, and you're at Carnegie Library, go right ahead. They have it for you.
That's pretty cool. And what's your last
Were you
one?
yawning?
No, I wasn't yawning. It's been a long day. This isn't my first job.
I know. Last thing, I know we don't talk about the movie that M. Night Shyamalan made. We don't talk about it. However, a few scenes from that movie were shot around Philadelphia and the surrounding Commonwealth, including the Southern Air Temple being shot at Mount Penn. So, little cool Pennsylvania connection there.
That is cool. So I'm glad I didn't yawn at these facts. So they,
it's like, are you yawning at me?
Usually I cover it pretty well, but sometimes it just gets out. But yeah, thank you for those. Thank you for those facts, because those are, I did want some Pittsburgh connection in there. I guess, you know what? I will say this, because I was going to save it for the end, but I'll just say it now. There was a collection that came out from Magic the Gathering that did have Avatar, The Last Airbender cards and their artwork. And I just wanted to ask you a question. According to the Collector app, what do you think the most expensive card is, and what do you think the cost of the most expensive card? And I'm going to pull it up real quick.
I'm going to go with probably Avatar Aang, and we're going to go with $800.
Okay. So the highest card, you are right, Avatar Aang, that's a no-brainer. Avatar Aang, for Magic the Gathering, it's called Avatar Aang Raised Foil, and the artwork's actually really cool. I'll show the people that are on the camera also, but it looks like that.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
And it's really cool because... go ahead.
No, I was just saying, that's him fighting the Fire Lord, I assume.
Yeah, and basically just like the mana that's used is fire. Well, people who play Magic the Gathering might know it a little bit differently, but it's the mana that looks like fire, the mana that looks like earth, the mana that looks like the sun, which air, and then water. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the card right now, as of today, is going for $3,908.
Whoa! I was gonna go in the thousands, but I was like, I don't know if it's that popular, but that makes a lot of sense.
Listen, trading cards, man, there's a lot of people that have an addiction to it, and not a good addiction to it.
Oh, very nice. All right, my wife ordered us food, and it just arrived. Thank you, Katie. I'll drink that. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you.
Love you.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that is. I really think that's cool. Magic the Gathering. Didn't they did a Ninja Turtle one before, and like they've done some really interesting stuff.
They're doing Marvel right now, so they're doing like Marvel superheroes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
If anyone's ever had a Thai iced tea, that is a unique flavor.
All right. So, how about we take a journey into this secret tunnel and we talk about the movie a little bit? So, how about that? You want to do that or you want to eat the whole time, huh?
No, I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this movie, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of references we can bring up about the show too. But this movie, did you end up rewatching it to get like to let it all soak in?
I did not. I did not have the time to do it because my kitchen faucet decided to break, so I had to buy a new faucet. So I have not had time at all. But I
Your house needs to quit doing that.
yes, uh, but I did try to watch as many people reviewing it. So just to kind of give people the general overlining of the show without going into it. This this movie is based off of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is about there's four elements: water, fire, earth, and wind, the air. And the Fire Nation attacked, as Katara says, and wiped out all of the airbenders because they're the next avatar who creates balance between all four elements was going to be an airbender, and it kind of goes throughout a process. And they decided to kill all of the airbenders, which is very serious for a kids show to say that.
Well, I mean, episode 2, they mentioned the genocide that happened, so like it is a kid show, but they go into some deep stuff.
Yeah, and basically, Aang survives because he trapped himself in a giant ice thing, and basically he gets resurrected from there, and he becomes the Avatar and restores balance to everything. So he learns all four
Well,
elements,
he didn't
and
become it. He was already. Come on
oh yeah,
now.
he was already. You give this short version. He learns all four elements, defeats the Fire Lord, and he brings balance back to all the elements. Now let's fast forward because they're all a little bit older now. Uh, Let me say this. The anime style of this movie is it's really cool to see this movie in a very good art, like really good artwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the original one was good, but it was kind of rudimentary because it was made back in like 2005 or 4 or something like that. Not to say there weren't good anime creators back in those days. There really were amazing creators. But the animation got better as the show went on. Season 1's a little bit rough, and it gets better as season 2 and 3 happen.
Yeah, so they're kind of like in their mid 20s. And as one YouTuber I was watching said, in typical anime fashion, everybody is handsome now. Every single person is handsome now.
Especially Sokka when he describes himself.
So we'll describe a lot of characters, but we're going to assume you guys have seen the show. So here we go. So basically, we start off in the Republic, which I didn't know the Republic was something from Legend of Korra. So I didn't know that.
That's the whole base of that show.
Yeah, I didn't know. I watched Legend of Korra one time and didn't really remember. And please stop me if I miss some parts because, like I said, I've only seen the movie one time and I'm just giving my review and my opinion. So basically, there's restored balance in the world and all the elements are living in harmony with each other. But there's still only one airbender in the world, which is just Aang. And this haunts him, literally haunts him in the beginning of the movie where his what do you want to call it? Mentor. His mentor gets killed basically in his dream. And just, he's been collecting air relics and putting them in what is it called? The West Wind Tower, the West Tower. I don't know what it's called.
I always thought it was I think it's the Southern Air Temple.
Okay.
Um, that's where he is from originally.
Yeah. And so basically, he's like collecting all these relics, and he's like, okay, this, that, everything is in perfect place. First of all, the voice acting is very good in this movie. I really I thought it was all top notch. Ken Jeong reprises his role as the Cabbage Man. Uh, the the foaming at the mouth people, they're doing their thing. No Suki, who is a Kabushi warrior, but whatever. I guess you got to have some people in the movie and some people not in the
Kabushi?
movie.
Oh God. Kiyoshi. Kiyoshi Warrior.
Kyoshi Warrior. Oh my god, Kabushi Warrior is from WWE. Okay. Kyoshi Warrior,
Of course it is.
part of the Kyoshi Warriors. But still, he's collecting all these relics and everything, and he gets attacked by the Denied. Because in this show, not everyone's an airbender or a waterbender or a bender in general. And those people are just like, I don't know. What do you think their motive is, JJ? Like, they're just angry because they're like, I want power.
Well, so the show does a great job of intertwining Korra and Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I know it's not the best, but if you go through and watch Korra, which has voice actors like J.K. Simmons, Aubrey Plaza, and Mindy Sterling, who is. Do you know who Mindy Sterling is, Chris?
The girl from The Office.
No, that's Mindy something else. Mindy Sterling is the girl from Austin Powers that goes, "Open the door!"
Oh,
But in Korra, from my memory, a lot of that show in the first season or so, actually even most of it, is that the non-benders are kind of uprising, and there's a dude that really leads the uprising, and that's where like the Denied is kind of like a predecessor to what happens in Korra. So yeah, it's basically non-benders that are like, we deserve to have power too, and they're trying to fight back.
yeah. And so what we don't realize is, here's the first spoiler: they're looking for a staff. So a staff that can give them the power to become an airbender. And Aang realizes he has to like find who this one airbender avatar, find what this one avatar is, and he has to go into the spirit world, and he has to search way back into back in the days.
What do you think about that? About the way they set all that up after watching the original show?
So I like that. What I have a problem with like the Netflix series and everything right now is there's humor, but it's not really like when you're in real life, you can't have these silly like side characters or anything. Like you could do tributes to them, but you can't like do like the guy foaming at the mouth thing like in live action because it'd look ridiculous. I love how funny this movie was in the beginning, at least, because
Yeah.
Sokka did like the whole thing explaining to the kids, like, "No, I was the hero," and just like he's like, "And I'm more handsome."
I mean, it's funny because, like, if you watch the show, everything he describes, he did it. He's not lying.
He ain't lying. Don't you know you lying?
But you're right. The animation style is really funny, especially like Sokka like paints himself as this like big muscle, like chiseled dude, and then like the rest of the crew is like little babies watching him.
And what was I just talking about? Yeah, I thought that was interesting where he had to go back. What I was getting to was it's funny because the movie was funny because every spirit he talked to, he was like making a different face every time. And it was like kind of bringing you back that they were trying to keep the character of young Aang like in this adult version of Aang also.
Definitely. I mean, even toward the end, they kind of intertwine like a recreation of him as a kid whenever he goes through flashbacks in that dream, and whenever he later on, whenever they like finally get the staff and everything, like some people get really old, some people get really young, and he turns back into his old self. So like it's really really cool how they did all that. I agree.
That is cool. Which I have a gripe about the spirit world section there because I feel like that pig thing was an unnecessary character, but whatever. I mean, we could talk about that in a second. But when he meets Avatar Shan, which is like the very, 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 very first Avatar that is on the list, he is actually voiced by, I hope I say this right, Ke Hui Kwan, who is the guy that does the snake in Zootopia 2, and he's also like the little kid from Indiana Jones.
Oh shoot, that guy! Yeah. Oh my gosh, he's
The
in
guy that
so
made
many
like
things.
he made a miraculous comeback and like he's won like an Oscar and everything. Because at first I was like,
Um,
"Oh, sorry, go ahead."
No, Everything Everywhere All at Once. He's in that one.
That's where he won an Oscar from. Like the first time I was listening to that scene, I was just like, "This is a weird voice." And then I saw who the voice actor was. I'm like, that makes total sense now.
Also, he was not the first Avatar, but I agree that the voice acting is incredible in it because it's that guy.
Then who was he? An avatar from the Earth Kingdom and a gifted scholar. That's what that says on the Wikipedia.
Well, if you want, so Korra is canon. Just throwing that out there. Korra is now canon, so everything, all that crap that she did, it all counts toward all this stuff. And in hers, I forget the Avatar's name, but he was like, I don't think he was anything. I think he was just a guy, and he became the Avatar, and then the cycle began. But this guy was just a goofy little dude.
He was a goofy little dude, and I liked it. I liked it for that. And then he basically mentions that Avatar Sonam, who was an avatar from the Air Nomads and the original owner of the staff during a golden age of airbenders in the city of Jarana from the distant past. Jarana. Okay, Jarana. I was making sure I read that correctly. And that's when Aang, he's just like, I must find this staff first. And then he climbs a giant mountain and then he calls all his friends to help him out. They're like, come on, friends, let's go do this very dangerous thing.
Did you catch whenever he calls for Zuko, he goes, "Greetings, Hotman," like he used to do. Oh man, that had me cackling. That was so funny.
And also, the voice of Fire Lord Zuko in this is Stephen Yun, who is also from The Walking Dead
Yeah, and Beef.
and Beef.
Great show if you've never watched it.
So they go to this giant mountain, and basically he thinks he finds the staff, but there is someone trapped inside of an iceberg thing, much like Avatar Aang. And he says, let's get him out. And then he gets him out, and it turns out it is Taga, which we don't like Taga, not yet, but we don't like him. But he is voiced by Dave Bautista. Remember, Dave Bautista turned on Rey Mysterio in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's the Pittsburgh connection.
That justifies this episode. If you're still listening out there, I
When you first saw Taga, what did you think of him?
thought that was dope. I thought his design was awesome.
He did have an awesome design, but everything just felt off because immediately I was like, this is going to be a bad guy. But the meaning behind it was just like, you didn't know yet because he had different tattoos, but he still had like long hair in a way. So it wasn't like a nomad. So it was just weird to me at first.
Anytime there's a character who's one dimensional, they're either not going to be on the show long because they're going to die. Like any show does that. If they're one dimensional and they only have one thing in mind, or they're going to turn. And his one thing is like, no, we have to find this. I'm going to show you how to do stuff, but it's all for the purpose of finding this thing. He doesn't have humor. There's no like, nothing deeper than what he is. And I think that's the second I saw that, I was like, no, this guy's going to turn. How about you?
Yeah, I thought he was going to turn immediately, but this also proves that this movie is not only for adults, it's also for like kids and teens that have watched the show as well. Because some people are just like, oh, look, he's so nice. He's teaching Aang how to like, he was flying. Remember, he was like running and like flying, and he learned all these different air techniques and everything. And basically, I was just like, I don't like this guy's vibe. And you know who else didn't like his vibe? Katara, which her gut was right.
She's always been the voice of reason with the crew, so I don't know why. It's been 20 years they've all been together, and they're still not listening to her.
And so basically, Taga says, like, I know where the staff is. He's like, I knew that first avatar we were talking about. I knew who, what did I say? Sonam, I believe. I know who, I'm sorry, Avatar Sonam is. So let's go find the staff together. And basically, that's when they start on the journey.
Okay,
And,
thank you. Hey, I love you.
and I do have a
I
question.
have a wife, all right?
Okay. I have a question real quick. Do you think having Team Avatar was necessary in this movie?
Probably not. I don't think it was necessary. I think that it's a great excuse to get the whole crew together, but I don't know. I think so. I'm not a producer. I'm not a creator. I'm assuming that Aang as a character was like, I need help and I need the people that have helped me in the past. But to call them all from all the corners of the world is pretty crazy to go find like one guy.
Because it's weird I haven't even mentioned Toph's name yet. So that's why I was just like thinking about that just now. I was like, didn't really mention Toph, didn't really mention Sokka, which Sokka mentions like his bike weird thing invention in the beginning, which it was just like, hey, that turned out to save everybody towards the end. But like, I don't think all the characters were really necessarily needed like in this movie.
I really do think this was more of like an introduction to what can be. Like, hey, this is a thing we created. It's because of our love for the show. Let's see what happens. And really, you're right. There's only a couple characters that really do anything. And like you said, Sokka, Toph, and Zuko, they were just kind of there.
Well, we can't forget, now that I'm thinking about this, where they go into like the storm that never ends or whatever it's called.
It
And
goes on and on, my friend.
and then it keeps going on, and they went into like the eternal storm, and that's where they had to go to get to the staff, and they were being chased by the denied, so the denied comes back in, and basically the denied like hits their ship. It's Zuko's warship, if I remember, and kind of like tears a hole in it, and basically the ship's going down, and that's where the teamwork actually comes together, where Katara's making sure the ship doesn't go under the water, and Zuko is giving it firepower, and Toph is like trying to metal bend everything all together, and basically Sokka is running on the wheel.
I'm so happy they kept him goofy. They can't steal his sunshine.
They kept him very goofy. He had so much character development in the cartoon, just like my girlfriend was the my girlfriend died and became the moon. That's rough, buddy. But like in this show, in this movie, maybe that's why they didn't bring Suki, because they were just like, we don't want him to be like this serious Sokka. We want him to be this silly Sokka the entire time.
Sure, we'll go with that. I really just think they were like, we have no reason to bring her back, pretty much.
Yeah. And so basically, just like they bring the warship back up, and they use their airbending to disperse tornadoes, which was awesome. And basically got them to the eye of the storm where they were able to find the staff. And that's when we can't forget Taga was trying to fend off the deniers, and basically he used his airbending to almost crush a ship, and Katara was like, I don't like this guy.
Yeah, he was a little bit skeevy and all that too. Like he was willing to kill them.
Yeah. And then that's when Aang's like, hey, guys, I'll go after the staff myself. You and Taga all stay alone together, okay? But that was cool when Taga finally turned heel, much like Batista did at Rey Mysterio in Pittsburgh.
You gotta stop mentioning that.
It was really cool how he turned on Team Avatar, because Katara was like calling him out, and he's just like, I ain't going back, and did like the whole like two fingers and just like shot air at them. I'm gonna go over something real quick, but it was cool that they were going back and forth between the scene of like him, Aang about to touch the staff, and then them like fighting, which I didn't know Taga was actually killing them. I didn't know that was happening. I thought they were just having a fight and they were like knocked out for a minute, like a Pokemon. But like, no, he like killed them.
He was trying to kill them.
Yeah. And here was the interesting fact I saw online today. These people have never faced an airbender before.
Oh wow, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe
Interesting.
except for Zuko, but like none of them have
Well,
faced an airbender before.
let's. I guess technically, as a group, they haven't. Zuko definitely fought Aang for years. Uh, Toph, whenever she was like first meeting the group, she was like in that like group of like fighters that were like underground stuff. She fought Aang there too, but like you're right, as a group, they haven't really fought like an adult airbender.
Yeah, and basically the fact, by the way, these are all like YouTube videos I watch, and I'm trying to like rephrase like everything they're saying. And the fact that this airbender was more powerful because he not more powerful, but different powerful because he did not go the way of the nomads. He did not do this in a peaceful way, like how Aang refused to like kill anybody. Like he defeated the Fire Lord by taking away his bending. Like this is an airbender that doesn't care. Like this is an airbender that's like, I will destroy anybody that's in my way.
Yeah, it's almost like looking at not Sokka, Zuko and his sister, and how they get their firebending from different aspects. You know, like Zuko used to be anger, and then his sister was, what's her name? His sister
Oh, Azula.
Azula. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Mhm.
My understanding was because hers was blue, she had a different like way of channeling it, but it's the same way. They're both firebenders. Same way with Aang and Taga. You know, like they get it from different angles, and Taga's is definitely like, oh no, I want to crush everybody.
Yeah. And so basically he does like the two finger like boom and like as Aang he finally grabs the staff and this is where we get total like you and I talked about this. This is where we start to get Aladdin like
A little bit.
and then basically Aang's just like I got the staff and Taga who spawns out of nowhere is just like oh good we need to go. Where's my friends? You don't need to worry about your friends anymore. Like what?
That's like it's the same thing as like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when he's like, it's a shame I had to kill your mother. What?
Yeah. It really broke my heart when I put that tumor in her head.
That's it.
Like,
That's it.
like, oh my god.
Like
Uh,
same
but
vibe.
but we'll get to the Aladdin thing because the staff is very Jafar like, and then you get like very evil Jafar genie towards the end. But we'll get there. So basically, now Taga has the staff, which gives him the power to grant normal people the power to airbend. Because remember, Aang wanted to bring back the airbenders, and this was a way of bringing it back. So that's why Aang was so high strung about getting this staff. And Taga was like, I'm going to get a staff and start a war. Because back in the days, 2,000 years ago, the earthbenders attacked the airbenders and Aang let go of the hate of the firebenders attacking, but Taga was like, "Nah, no, this is a grudge I'm holding for the rest of my life."
So I wondered about that. Remember Avatar Kyoshi in her episode, like she talks about like, no, I killed Zhang the Conqueror or whatever, and he was an earthbender that was like terrorizing everybody. How bad have the earthbenders been in the past? That's seems like there's been a lot of that going on.
I don't know, but you know what? It goes in eras. You know what I mean? First we all hated Tom Brady, now we all hate Patrick Mahomes. So you know what I mean?
That's true. Now we're in our actually no, I think that's where we're at right now. That's the era we live in currently.
So yeah, so for people who didn't know the backstory, why he wanted the staff, there you go. And so then we think he does the two finger thing to Aang, and I thought they were all gone. And the thing about like these movies is they always find a way to make people come back. And it turns out they were laying in water, and Katara, who has the power of healing, healed everybody in that water because it's like spirit water or something.
Sure.
It was sure. So do you think that was a bit of a stretch?
I mean, I don't know. Like, okay, so does that mean like Katara just has to touch water and she can heal things all the time, all across? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if she's. I don't know. We're gonna go with sure. If you go with movies like this, if you try and break it down too much, it stops making sense. And if you just believe, like, have you ever like heard the saying like, if you start a movie saying that man can fly, like that's just the rule. The man can fly. You don't have to worry about how. But the minute they start breaking down like why he flies and how he can fly, it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. That's how I felt about like Katara doing that. I was like, sure, that makes sense.
and and so the denied are about to be destroyed by the eternal storm, but then Taga opens up a portal for them to come through, and then he grants the denied people the power to airbend. So it's like, oh shoot, here we go.
You know what? We missed a part though. The one denied girl was like, "Oh, wait a second, Aang saved me. Maybe he's not a bad guy in the very, very beginning," and that like sets a seed of like maybe these guys aren't as bad as we think they are. in her the entire time.
Yeah, and she ends up becoming a good one in the end. So that's she's a good character also. And that's another one of those things, like a random side character, a random B story that kind of like makes its way throughout the entire movie. So
She
we
was
all
like
like
an F story.
yeah, I know. There's like a lot of stories happening in this one. But they got to make 30 minutes. They got to make an hour and 30 minutes worth it. Uh, so where are we at? So they're all revived, Taga, and their airship is destroyed. And they're like, how do we get out of here? And they end up going to this is where I start to get a little foggy. So you need to help me. They go to the
Yes.
spirit. They go to the spirit world, and the spirit world's all out of loop because Taga has the staff and is just like, I'm evil, by the way. And the spirit world
Yeah.
goes crazy. And I found another theory. So when they go into the spirit world, everyone's out of whack. And how do we know that? Because Toph is a baby, Zuko and Katara are old people, Aang is a regular teenager, and Sokka is a teenager. So everything's all out of whack. And the pig, whatever that thing is called,
Gorilla
uh,
Vark.
yeah, and I don't know what the purpose of Gorilla Vark is. Like, he's just like, hey guys, you know what we should do? Run! Like, that was, I guess he was
I
funny.
I like the did you catch the joke? So all through the series, the original series, the joke was that people wanted Katara to end up with Zuko, and he was like, "You two make a nice couple." And they were like, "Ew, no." I really enjoyed that little like jab. That was funny.
I saw that too. That was the thing I was going to mention because there was some guy that, like, on TikTok that was just like, did you know that Zuko and Katara were with each other behind the scenes while Avatar Aang was collecting his relics for the temple, and they were actually sneaking behind Aang? I'm like, sure.
It's not that deep.
It's not that deep, but that was a good jab at that, which was like, you guys make a good couple. So this spirit world character is like Pumbaa with 6 eyes. That's really all it is.
Yeah, he's goofy. He's goofy, man, but he gets them back to Republic City, and where they find that the Spirit World and Republic City are like smushing in on each other.
So do you think that's really just the purpose of that character, is just to do that? There was no like deeper meaning or anything?
Sure. I don't think so. I don't know, man. He didn't look familiar or anything, so like he may have been. But yeah, I think the purpose was just to do something funny, to make a quick joke, and then get them back over to Republic City, where they meet up with the Deniers and they have a big old fight.
Yeah, they do have a big old fight. Now I'm starting to get a little fuzzy on this part also. So I know they have the big fight, and to me, all I know is just like eventually Aang gets the staff.
Yeah, Aang confronts Taga, gets the staff, but then Aang is like enraged. He's so angry that Taga's accusations that he failed to protect the air nomads that Aang just like briefly succumbs to a corrupt avatar state, and he
Oh,
just turns bad for a second.
I forgot. We need to talk about every movie has a moment of like, how are they going to get out of this? Because the um, Spirit Kingdom or whatever is slowly coming down or whatever onto Republic City. And when it hits Republic City, he puts like the staff down, and then he becomes a genie with phenomenal cosmic power.
And people are like running away, and there's like pillars like entering the ground and stuff like that. It's actually pretty intense.
It is pretty intense. And then, of course, how can we forget about the cabbage that got destroyed during that scene?
Did he actually say the line, "My cabbages"?
No, he didn't say the line. He screamed the line. He went,
That's
my
right.
cabbages, and then looks up in the sky and goes, my cabbages.
Go big or go home.
So yeah, and Taga goes from like a guy to a, oh yeah, I forgot. Aang ends up talking to the Avatar Sonam, and Sonam goes, so first of all, I put Taga in a mountain in ice so no one can ever find him. And then I hid the staff in an internal storm. There was that only an avatar can get the staff.
Yeah.
Who who messed this up?
Which I was thinking about it. That checks out because as an air nomad, she probably didn't really believe in killing people. So she was like, well, how can I get rid of this guy without killing him? Hence the, freezing him.
Yeah. And how does one person mess this up? Probably from misunderstanding. So he ends up releasing the genie with phenomenal cosmic power.
This is basically Aladdin 2. If you've watched Aladdin 2, then you've watched this movie.
He's just like, I got the staff. And then I guess they do have a battle. I'll read the description so I can at least like know what the heck happened. But I'm Vamp JJ for me. Vamp.
uh, Dang it. Yeah. Besides, I know we're talking a lot of crap on this movie, but we did really enjoy this movie. Just throwing that out there. We really,
did.
really enjoyed this. It was amazing. The animation was great through all these scenes. It was great seeing the cabbage guy scream the cabbage part. And I mean, Aang had to once again fight in a corrupted avatar state, just like he did in the last episode of the TV show where he had to take the firebender's power away. But there was that scene where he almost lost it to the Fire Lord. Like, it was pretty cool to see that kind of that internal battle just always raging with him.
Yeah. Okay. So I read the description. I thank you, JJ. I read the I read the description, and all it really says is Aang gets the staff back. That's it. He gets the staff back, but you were right. And then all of a sudden, he starts like jabbing at him, Taga. He's just like, you're the reason why there's no more airbenders, right? You're the one that ran away, and you're the reason why the firebenders attacked the air nomads, and that's why they're no longer. And that's why I had to create new airbenders. When Aang turns purple, purple's bad, okay? And he's like, no! And before he's about to strike down on Taga, who comes up? The memory from the beginning of the movie. A full circle moment. Gyatso, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Monkey Atso.
I was making sure I said that right. Monkey Gyatso ends up coming back and just kind of saying like, remember how you were taught or remember what you were as a child and everything. And then Aang, with the power of purple, ends up turning back into his normal self and crushes the staff, which gets rid of all of the fake airbenders. And so everyone's like trying to do like like their move, and they can't do it anymore. And basically all of a sudden there was a really cool line because they said air nomads are just kind of like borrowed, and then when they die they become the mist.
That was amazing. That was pretty much, then we become the grass, then we eat the grass.
Listen, JJ, if there's one thing I learned is that tomorrow is a mystery, yesterday is history, and today is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
That was from something. It had to be.
It was from Kung Fu Panda.
Anyway, that's incredible.
To which Kirk Cousins actually quoted during like an interview.
That's outstanding. Love that. Love that journey. Oh gosh, where are we even? Oh yeah, so Aang forgives himself pretty much. Oh, you know what? I was gonna ask you this. So like, airbenders haven't been around for hundreds of years at this point, like 100 and some years. So if airbenders haven't been around for that long, and this is the first time anyone's ever fought an airbender, how do these nobodies know how to use airbending powers and like do the right moves?
I do not know, and I will answer with this. Sure.
It's the only reasonable answer right now.
Sure. They're just like,
Like, look at this.
They all do like the ball thing. They're all like,
it's like Aang's the only person that's ever been able to do that, and they're just like, it's nothing.
listen, they gotta shove a lot into an hour and 30 minutes. I don't know how they know it. It just happens. Hey JJ, if a man's told he could fly in the beginning of the movie, he can fly. We don't question it.
But so if you've watched Legend of Korra, you know that there is an island where it's basically the new air temple that they built for Republic City. And this is the scene where they show it being built and they show him with his new people, including the girl from the Deniers. That's actually cool now. And they're trying to build the true legacy of the air nomads through them. And this is where that all starts and leads into Korra.
Yeah, and basically where this becomes in canon is at the end of the movie. Basically, Sokka does do something with his little bike invention. I forget what it is, but there was a funny scene where Aang is falling and Katara jumps and catches him and kisses him, and Sokka kind of comes from behind like, ew.
I love Sokka in this. It was so good.
He was very cartoonish, and I love that about it. And then basically, where it becomes in canon is they do find the original Airbenders, which is the Sky Bison, a whole village of Sky Bison that Sonam led him to.
I did not understand that. These guys had traveled the world in the TV show, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, you see that island over there? You must have flown past it. There's a bunch of flying bisons. How did you miss that? You know, like, what was it? Covered in cloud or something? Like, what?"
If I remember correctly, JJ, there was a branch in the way.
Oh, right. You know what? Sure.
That's why they couldn't find it. There was a branch there the whole time. So
I just now, granted, by that point, I had had a few drinks, and I was just sitting there like, what? There's just randomly hundreds of bison. No one noticed this. Where is this? On Mars?
So if you guys love it or hate it, that's our description of the movie. And what do you give this movie out of a 10? I give it. So obviously the story's played out so many times, especially with Disney right now. Like, hey, this was a good guy, but then ended up being a bad guy. Just look at Zootopia. Sure, if you want to count Encanto, I still think Abuela's the villain. So, like the good guy is the bad guy. That story's been played out a lot, especially in the 2010s, 2020s. I give the movie a 7. I didn't hate it, and I still loved it, but I wasn't like over the moon for it.
I think that's respectful. I'd give it a 6 cabbages out of 10 because they didn't bring back Iroh, and that voice actor's still out there doing stuff. I know the original one passed away that did Iroh, and the newer one he's still out there doing voice acting. He's also the guy that plays the bad guy in Samurai Jack. So like, if they brought back Iroh, 10 out of 10. But as of right now, probably 6 or 7. I agree with that.
Yeah, but just like what we said, you can't shove a bunch of characters in there if the storyline doesn't make sense. It's, just like what I said, I've only mentioned Toph twice this entire time. And also the fact she says, I'm still the best metal bender in the world, and all that. So
But
what
like that pig could have been Iroh because Iroh's like at this point, who knows if he's in the spirit world? He's in the spirit world. If he is, because it's canon in Korra, he's in the spirit world, but that's whenever he doesn't pass, he just ascends pretty much. So they could have done something with that, but they didn't. There was missed opportunities, but I'm sure there are good things to come.
do you kind of get like Star Wars vibes with the whole Avatar series? Like, just like, well, this happened, so that means this happened, which turned into this, which turned into this, which turned into this. Like how Star Wars fans are just like, well, actually, Obi-Wan Kenobi and this and this and this and blah blah blah. But except Disney ruined it. Disney was just like, and she's actually Rey Skywalker. Like,
It actually reminds me a lot more of like, kind of like, I can't make this connection entirely, but like, it has more of a Lord of the Rings feel to it, where like there is a big bad power and it's all in one little thing. In this movie in particular, like one thing has all this phenomenal power, and it takes like a good group of people to go and try and fight against it. But at the same time, the storylines don't make any sense. I just like Lord of the Rings as a comparison because Star Wars I do not like as a in the newer stuff they've been doing.
do you think that they should do another Avatar movie and 100% have an Avengers Endgame moment where there's one big bad guy like that's also like a bad avatar, and then all the airbenders, all the benders in the world come together and just like Aang says like benders assemble.
No, no. The original series ended perfectly because the whole thing says the Avatar has to fight the Fire Lord. And they made sure that happened. It was just those two fighting, and everyone else was doing something to help the cause. I think if they did something like that again, it'd be perfect. Like, I really hope they don't go the way of like Avengers Assemble because that would kind of ruin the gist of the show, you know?
Yeah, that would be also kind of be bad if, they kind of horseshoe in just like there's a bad avatar. Like, what? How is that possible?
Just watch Korra, you'll know how it's all possible. how absolute shit writing, absolute crap writing can lead to such terribleness.
You really did not like that show, huh?
Oh man, I wanted to love it. I really did, but season 1 was okay and it just got worse from there. But
Okay.
it's canon, but it's canon.
It is canon. But you also said the Nickelodeon producers gave them like no time to write that show either, or do it
They didn't.
basically.
They said, "Hey, we need this done right now. By the way, half your budget's been cut. Oh, by the way, we need it done now." And they were like, "We have no time to write any of this stuff." And they were like, "Well, that's too bad." And then like the last season, they didn't even air it. It went on to like Nickelodeon's website, and that's where the only place you could watch it.
Ooh, that's gross.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode of Boys in the Burgh that had
If you're still
somewhat
listening,
that had somewhat to do about Pittsburgh. But hey, if you're a nerd for this kind of stuff, my brother and I, we do find relations in like nerdy stuff. I definitely want to do, if you have listened this long, I definitely want to do an episode about how Disney fans and wrestling fans kind of interconnect with each other, because I think that's a very interesting thing to look into. And there's a lot more similarities to it than a lot of people think.
yeah, like we love Pittsburgh. We're always going to talk about Pittsburgh, but we do want to use this medium as a way to express like what we find really interesting, like this type of stuff. So we're interested to bring you some more interesting things.
Yeah. So we'll finish off by saying, what element are you? What element do you think you are?
Man, I wish I was air, but I think I'm more earth because I'm just stubborn as hell.
You are the boulder.
Yes, exactly.
And I was between fire and air, but I think it's got to be fire, right? You think I'm a fire bender?
I think you're fire for sure.
Cool. So
Neither of us are water.
neither of us are water. None of us are graceful. We don't heal people because we just fell in a swimming pool. Like we didn't do that.
Because we fell in a swimming pool.
All right,
Good Lord.
everybody. Well, I've been Chris.
I've, I've been JJ.
And sure, we'll see you real soon.